The purpose of this video is to show how we can run a practice in a manner that is in conjunction with the protocols, the guidelines, restrictions that have been put in place as far as return to train is concerned. So as I go through this video, you're going to see two things that we really need to be aware of. One of them is social distancing, and the other one is the fact that we're not allowed to share equipment. So all of the equipment that players use will be their personal equipment. So as they arrived at the ballpark today, I had baseballs sitting out for them. 5 baseballs. They were able to come in and grab the 5 baseballs that they needed. They were going to be theirs. They put their initials on the baseball, and then they put those baseballs in their bag, or in this case I had them go out and take it to a station that was already set up. So the idea here is that those baseballs will now belong to them. So at the end of practice they'll go into their bag. Next practice they show up, those are their individual 5 baseballs to take out of their bag and to use during that practice. So no sharing of baseballs, and social distancing kept to regulation at all times. So as we go through this practice, you'll see that we really don't even come close to 2 meters. We're talking 30-40 feet in between players. We're talking about opposite sides of dugouts and so on. So it's really social distancing is quite easy to manage. For the purposes of this practice, we're going to have 12-player practice. So you're going to see 3 stations set up at any given time, and they're going to rotate through the stations, at least the areas that the stations are set up at. We're going to have them rotate through twice. What we've got here is we've got cones set up for what should be familiar to you as a warm-up area. The only difference right now for us is going to be not allowing kids to line up right behind each other. So for our purposes, we've got 12 players, so we could have 6 lines here, and they would have to be just individual lines for them to do the warm-up at. So you might have, if you've got 12 players, you could have 6 lines or lanes set up here for each individual to do their warm-up, and then you could also have 6 down the right field line as well. So just so long as we're in a situation where kids aren't lining up right next to each other, we can have the same warm-up we always do, but rather than having 4 lines for 12 players, we'll have to have 6 on this side, 6 on the other side, so that everybody can have their own individual line to do their warm-up. For throwing drills, again, we're going to have to work individually. So I've got Quentin and I've got Kobe here set up ready to throw into the net. So we're going to be doing drills with them throwing into the net. Over by where Coach Jordan is, you'll see that the 2 sisters, Ellie and Carrie, are going to be doing their drills together, able to share the ball because they're from the same household. So 3, straightforward. Good, man. That was better. That was better. Good man. Good. Second time that they come through during this practice, the second time they come through, the throwing station will become a hitting station. So now they're hitting balls off of the tees, and we'll go through some drills in a little bit. and I'll show you exactly what kind of drills you can be doing off the tees. Okay, so again, you're going to have to imagine that there are catch nets that all 4 of these girls are hitting it, or girls and guys are hitting into. You're going to see that that they have different drills. Some of them are doing different drills, but the point right now is that you'll see there's plenty of distance in between. You also will notice that each one of them is hitting in a different direction. So Kobe over here is actually hitting toward the left field corner. Quincy is hitting basically straight away left field. You can see Carrie is hitting towards center field, and Ellie is hitting towards almost to the right field corner. So again, if they happen to miss their catch net, there's no danger of the ball going and getting mixed up with somebody else's. Okay, with the setup already established and knowing where everybody's going to be doing their batting, we've got some tee drills here, so it's all individual work as I mentioned earlier, and it's going to be all work that we can do off the tee. Now you'll see that that Carrie and Ellie are working together because they're sisters. They're able to touch each other's baseball equipment, so it's not a problem with one person setting them up and another person hitting them. So that works nicely if you happen to have siblings that can work together on that. Okay, and you can be as creative with this as you want. Make sure that you take a look at videos and see what other people are doing, but I'm going to give you a couple of ideas that we can do. Good, okay. You can even nick the top of the tee. So, one more. Notice that as a coach, I've got all my own equipment. So this is going to be my batting tee for the day. This is my bat for the day. And the instruction I'm giving them is from a good 25 feet away from them. So the whole idea is for me to social distance away from them and then me. So the whole idea is for me to be able to stand away from them and still be able to give instruction. And still be able to demonstrate something, but not using anybody else's equipment other than mine. So the other thing that I'll mention right now is that because we have siblings, we can start to do some side toss as well. So we can move the tee out of the way, and we'll get Carrie to do some side toss. Get a little closer to the net for me, Carrie. There you go. So we can do some side toss into the net because they're able to share the gear. So if we have parents that are willing to help out and come to practice with their child, then that's going to give them an opportunity to do some more drills too. So any opportunity we have for siblings to work together or parents to accompany their child, anybody living in the same household, then we should be able to do a few more drills than we can do if a child is by himself. Excellent. For individual fielding drills, what we'll need is an opportunity for a surface for them to throw the ball against. So the whole idea here is to make sure that they're giving themselves a good ground ball. So if they have to move a little bit closer, that's fine. This drill here is for multiple bounces, so it simulates more of a regular ground ball that they would get in a game. So let's just watch Ellie do these. While that's going on in the front of the dugout, we've got Carrie back here doing some shorter hops. So she's really close to the dugout, back of the dugout on this, and you can see that she's working on the short hops. You can see we've got plenty of social distancing here. We've got Carrie behind the dugout. We've got Ellie on the front of the dugout, and then if you look over at the other dugout, there is Quentin and Kobe doing the same drills, but still socially distanced by plenty of room, but they're using the front of the dugout because the back of the dugout is unavailable to us at this time. So we've got one on one side end of the dugout, one on the other end of the dugout, plenty of room in between them. So another opportunity for drills, you're going to have to be creative, coaches. You're going to have to find different drills that kids can do on their own. So again, this sort of simulates the idea of coming to get a short hop. So you can see Quentin tossing the ball out front of himself. So he has to come and get it and try and field it on the short hop, and then he'll work his feet through as if he's going to make a throw to first base. He's doing a good job here. So once again, if we have an opportunity to have a parent at the field or two siblings, then it gives us the opportunity to do some partner work where we do some short hop drills. And then they can back up from each other a lot. and we can actually roll the ball to each other or bounce the ball to each other as well. So we get a little more simulation with that. For the base running portion of our practice, you can see how we've got this set up. And remember, we've got 12 players, so we've got 3 different stations going on at a time. So we only have 4 players at the base running station at a time. So there's plenty of opportunity for us to spread ourselves out, socially distance. There's about 20 feet away between the cones here. So you can see that Carrie's ready to go when I give her the go ahead. And then Kobe's waiting at that cone, Ellie's waiting at the next cone, and then Quentin at the last cone. So after Carrie takes off, everybody will move up one spot and wait for their turn. Okay, so we're going to do some straight throughs first of all right? And I'll tell you when to go. We've also got Brendan down there, Coach Brendan down there, watching them, and he'll give them any feedback that he needs to give them. Okay, anytime you're ready, Carrie. Good, you guys can move up. Get going. Get going. Oh, 90 feet! 90 feet! Keep going!
Oh, keep going right here, right to the base.
See those wheels, right through hard, right through hard. Come on. All right, we're gonna spend 2 rotations at base running. So the first time through, you can do some straight throughs like we showed. We can do some turns and go into second base if you want. You can have somebody in the outfield acting as an outfielder who is going to get the ball, their back's turned, let's try for second, or they field it cleanly, get around as far as you can off first base, and then get back while keeping an eye on the ball and so on. We could also probably the first time through start to talk about leads and breaks. So the first few that we're going to do here are simulating like the coach has not put on any sign. The runner has her lead. There's going to be a pitch to the plate, or he may pick. So be aware, base runners, he may pick, but if he pitches to home plate, it's going to be a shuffle, shuffle. Imagine the hitter hitting a ground ball and then breaking to second base.
Good.
There's really no limit to the number of times you can work on this. Once you've worked on it with a right-handed pitcher, then you can go into left-handed pitchers. And really, base runners, baseball players, fielding position guys should be working on leads and breaks, and should be working on straight steals and so on pretty much every practice at some point. So there's really no limit to the number of times you can do this. It's always good for players to be working on what kind of jump they can get on these. You're going to have to be creative as coaches, as I mentioned once earlier on. It's going to be a situation where you're going to have to adapt with equipment and so on. You'll notice that for when we're showing the hitting today, we only had 1 catch net, and that may be the way your situation is too, or you may find that you don't have any catch nets. So what adjustments we can make is with equipment. So rather than using baseballs, we can use wiffle balls. Wiffle balls can do the same drills with wiffle balls. The ball's not going to go as far away, so they're not as hard to collect. Bring back in and keep working off the tee. So the adaptability that you're going to have as a coach is going to be such that you may have to adapt how many players you have at the field. You may have to adapt what kind of equipment you're going to use. But in any case, I just showed you guys an example of what a practice could look like, where there's no shared equipment, social distancing is not an issue whatsoever. And so what I'd like you to do now is to adapt what I just showed you to fit what you want to do at any given practice. You know, bullpens are going to be tough. Because we're not, right for now, we're not allowed to share equipment. So it may even be a situation where you got kids throwing off a mound, but really there's just a net for them to catch off of. You know, you can look up drills. Feel free to contact me if you're looking for more individual drills that you can do. One thing we didn't show, the short hop drills are drills you can do when you're throwing off the back of the dugout. In this case, you can do on one knee, and you may have seen those drills in videos before. But go ahead and look up videos, look up drills that you think that you might want to use, and then just make sure that you're spacing things out like we did today, and things will be great. I also want to take this opportunity to thank our young players for being here. I want to apologize to Quincy for calling him the wrong name for part of the video, but I hope he gets over it. I also want to make sure that I thank Samba and Curtis Miller, the president, for letting us use their field today, as well as the City of St. Albert for letting us use their field and their facilities today. So thank you very much to everybody.